Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this special occasion. So today is summer solstice of Northern Hemisphere. What is summer solstice? Is the longest day of the year. So the sunrise was about 5:23, sunset about 8:31. So more than 15 hours of sunlight. So in 2015, UN decided they want to, recognize this as an International Yoga Day. Since then, all over the world, many people have been doing yoga, and we at Mount Sinai also have been celebrating International Yoga Day. So what is yoga? Yoga means summation of mind, body, and spirit. Why practice of yoga is important for us is that it increases flexibility as well as muscle strength. And we will show you some breathing techniques so that will help you in both respiratory as well as circulatory health. Now, why is it important for healthcare workers? We healthcare workers are standing long hours on the computer, on the phone. So as time goes by, the posture changes, and definitely people develop upper back, lower back pain. So it's very important you practice something, which is especially yoga, that will increase your flexibility. And we all know we went through a very tough time recently, the COVID, which is, it's a respiratory virus, entered our body through the nose, went to the lungs. And I think what we learned during this pandemic is that if you had a good respiratory system as well as a good health by yourself, by healthy eating as well as exercise, you would have been able to fight this virus during this particular pandemic. So today, myself and Maria will guide you through yoga sequence as well as some breathing technique, which we would want you to practice, doesn't matter, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, and stay healthy so that, that you will fight during this challenging period, which is still going on, and maybe more challenging period that comes to remain healthy. And happy Father's Day to everybody. Maria.
Thank you so much, Dr. Keeney. Thank you. So this is your biggest turnout yet, I think, Dr. Keeney, over 80 people. And that's really, maybe we can inspire to do more virtual classes. But yeah, Dr. Keeney is an inspiration to myself. She is probably my most committed client, walks the talk in terms of health and wellness for herself so that she can support the vessel that's doing amazing work in the world. So we'll take you through the sequence like she said, and we'll going to try and fit it into 30 minutes. We'll see how it goes. Usually, sometimes we go up to 90 minutes, she and I, right, Dr. Keeney?
Yes.
So let's sit up tall, or if you're seated on a couch, I see some of you have mats, don't have mats.
You can use a block or a pillow if you cannot sit down.
Yep. So you can find your way. This is called Sukhasana. So it's an easy seat, not so easy for so many people, but sit on a chair is fine. And if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. And we'll just begin with some Ujjayi Pranayama deep breathing, which is geared towards helping you get more centered, feel more grounded. And as Dr. Keeney just explained, so good for your lungs and your diaphragm. So let's all sit up really tall in your seat. Take your head of the arm bones back, and then just line up the crown of your head with your seat. And then just feel the surface that you're sitting on. And then take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Good. Just feel the natural rhythm of your inhalation and the natural rhythm of your exhalation. Soften your jaw. Soften the muscles around your face. And then just hear the different sounds in the environment that you're in. Tune into your breath.
Essentially, nice deep breath through your nose. Take a deep breath as long as you can. You feel your diaphragm that's moving all the way down. And then exhale through your nose again. Keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that.
Good. And then just take 2 more cycles of breath. Good. And then on the next inhalation, hold the breath at the top of the inhale. So you're retaining the breath. Feel a slight contraction of your glottis, the back of your throat. Feel your navel draw in and back. Hold. And then exhale, empty, empty, empty out through your mouth. Good. And then allow your breath to just move back to its automated, normal cycle. Good. And then on your next inhale, you're going to bring the hands to your heart center and then just raise your arms straight up towards the sky. So you're going to lift the arms up. Dr. Keeney is spotlighted. If you need a general idea of the shape, you can look at the camera and then reach up tall through the sides of your body. Good. Lengthen through the sides. Feel the arms reaching up. Feel the strength and power in your arms. And then on your next breath, take your left hand down and your right arm up and over your head. Yeah, so it's a gentle little side bend to the stretch. Right, so just moving and opening up the body, releasing stress, tension, contracted through the muscles.
So this is a good stretch for your obliques also.
Yeah,
After standing long
intercostals.
hours.
Good, and then switch sides. Yep, and you can do this on the chair. You can do this seated on the floor. You can do this at the end of the day. You can do this during the day if you feel stressed or overwhelmed. Good. And then come back to the center and then just walk, circle the shoulders a few times, just circle your shoulders back and down and then walk your hands forward. So you're in a, almost essentially a seated forward fold where you're reaching the arms out, stretch out your low back. Yeah, just release tension. So yoga is a way to really stay grounded, move the body less tight. Good. And then come up, slowly walk your hands back and then just slowly come to lay back on your back. So if you have a mat, and some of you do, you're just going to come to lay flat on your back, extend your legs straight out in front of you. And then on your next breath, you're going to reach the arms up and over your head, roll out your ankles, roll out your feet. Yep, just reaching through, rolling out the ankle joint, the wrist joint, stretch out your fingers, right? We do a lot of work with our hands all day. Just move the digits, move, yep. And then from here, draw your right knee to your chest for wind removing pose. So you can even do this if you're sitting in a chair, just reach your knee to your chest. And then slight contraction, feel your hip joint. And then from there, start to circle the knee in all different directions. So you're opening up the hip, which is a ball and socket joint. Good. And then just move, keeping the joints healthy and the muscles working. Good. And then from here, extend your legs straight up towards the ceiling. And if you're seated, you can extend your legs straight out on the chair. Yep. And do the same, ideally the same shape. Roll out the ankle. So yoga can be for everybody. Yep, just stretch out your ankle joint. And then from here, take the knee to the chest and then take that same ankle, the ankle, and cross it over the opposite knee and draw the opposite knee to your chest. So you're creating essentially a figure 4 with your legs. Use your right elbow or your hand to press the knee away. This opens up the piriformis, the glute. Relax your shoulders. So this is called reclined pigeon. Good. And then, yep, just reach through the legs and draw your left knee to your chest and dorsiflex both feet so you engage muscle energy. Perfect. Relax your shoulders. Keep the breath moving and flowing. Good. And then release that and draw your right knee to your chest and then extend that same leg up towards the sky. So the same foot, knee, draw it to your chest, flex point. And then if you have a hand towel or a strap, this is a way to stretch out your hamstrings. It's really good for your back. So the muscles in the back of the thigh. Relax your grip, stretch out the legs. So if you've been standing all day, so these are just if you do one of these poses at the end of the day, it can be really, really beneficial for your body. Yep. And so I knew Dr. Keeney is taking it across her body to open up her IT band, to open up the outer thigh. And again, you could do this seated just with the knee bent. And then draw the toes to the nose and then release. And then let's switch legs. Good. Just gently float it down. And then draw your left knee to your chest. Good. Slight contraction with your hip. And then circle the knee in all different directions just to loosen up the hip and find some freedom. Good, and then extend the leg straight up towards the sky flex point. Let's use the strap now. This time, place the strap or your hand towel on the ball of the foot. And if you don't have a prop, just use your hands and reach behind your leg. And again, you can do this seated. Breathe. How often do you practice a week, Dr. Keeney? Even 5 minutes, right? In the morning?
Every day, 15 minutes, but long session with you 3 times a week.
Yeah. She's very committed, and it really is a commitment. It's a commitment to stay committed to your health and your wellness. Good, and then come back to the center. And I think we've all really saw the need for essential health it's been heightened these past few months. Draw your knee to your chest and then take the figure 4 on the other side. So cross ankle over knee, opposite ankle over opposite knee, and then draw the knee to the chest. And this is a really sweet stretch to release tension in the back, as well as the glute, the piriformis, the hips. Deep breath in and a deep exhale. Good. So essentially what you want to do is hold these 20 seconds, but we're kind of short on time. So we'll just give you the general idea. Draw your knees to your chest and you're going to rock and roll it all the way up, or push yourself up into tabletop. So you're on all fours, knees down, shoulders, wrists, elbows are stacked. Tuck the toes under. If you're seated in a chair, you can do cat-cow seated, okay? So sitting up tall, you're going to drop the belly. Go ahead, Dr. Keeney.
No, I'm just telling them if they're on the chair, they can just move the shoulders back like this. But of course, if you're on your...
Good. So drop the belly, look up. This opens up the pectorals, opens up the heart. And then exhale, draw your chin to your chest, round the upper, middle, and lower back. So these 2 poses are called cat-cow. And basically what they do is move the spine, the muscles around the spine, the vertebra. Yeah, so cat-cow, try to get movement there. This is a place where we really tend to hold a lot of tension, especially if you're wearing heavy equipment during the day, right, Dr. Keeney?
Yeah.
Lead. Inhale, exhale. So just find some movement there, either seated. Good, do 2 more. You can move your hips. The goal is strength and flexibility. Good, and then from here, step back into plank, top of a push-up. If this is too, feels injurious on your hands or your wrists or your shoulders, you can just drop the knees, okay? Just keep the spine long. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Good. And then on your next breath, your first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. I butcher Sanskrit, right, Dr. Keeney?
Yeah.
But I'm learning. Bend your Adho. I'm learning. Bend your right knee, bend your left knee. She teaches me. Bend your right knee, bend your left knee, work your hips, keep your feet. So ideally what we want to do is kick the work of this pose out of the wrists, out of the shoulders, and into the legs. So the legs are carrying a brunt of the weight, okay? So the best setup for downward dog is to set up with your wrists over your shoulders, over your wrists, and then push your hips high to the sky. So you're creating an inverted V. This stretches the calves, the upper back. You're also strengthening the arms. You can do this against a wall or against a chair if it's too much pressure on your wrists. You can bend your knees here too if you can't get the full range of motion in your hamstrings. Take a deep breath in and then exhale out to plank, and then lower down knees, chest, chin, come all the way down onto your belly. Walk your wrist back. This is called Bhujangasana, cobra. Peel the head, neck, and shoulders. So these poses are named after deities, sages, animals, and nature, right? So inhale. See, summer is a season of play where we're really called to get out in nature. And I think for all of you who are in a hospital, that's such a good idea. Good. Peel the head, neck, and shoulders up. Opens up the pectorals, stretches the ribs, works the muscles of the upper back, the back body. And then exhale, child's pose. Bend your knees, sink your hips to your heels. So you're sending your hips, your glutes to your heels. Some of you might not get the full range of motion. You just direct your hips back there. Stretch out your arms right in front of you, and this stretches the upper back. Breathe in. Child's pose it's called. And breathe out.
Balasana.
Balasana, yes.
Also a good stretch for the lower back.
Yeah.
End of the day, good stretch.
Good. And then from here, do 5 breaths in this pose. Breathe into the bottom of your lungs. So you want to get the breath moving all the way to the bottom of the lungs. We breathe all day long. Deepen it. Great. And then from here, come all the way up, but come back into tabletop. And then we'll step back into plank, Phalakasana. Strong effort here. Feel your strength, belly to the spine. Don't let the belly sink to protect your low back. And then from there, downward facing dog. Hips to the sky. Bend your right knee, bend your left knee, shake your head yes, no, and then slowly walk your feet up to your hands. So we're making our way up, and we'll move through some standing shapes for balance to open up the hips. So Uttanasana, standing forward fold, is just let your arms dangle and hang. This stretches the backs of your legs. Dr. Keenan keeps her head above her heart. Good. And then exhale. Go ahead, Dr. Keenan.
It's very important you have to have your head above, because when you're doing this practice, people may start feeling dizzy. So you've got to know your body limitations. So whatever your body allows, do it.
Good. And then slowly come up one vertebra at a time. Yeah. So this is union, yoke, union with self. Tadasana, stand tall, walk tall, stand tall and stable. So simple pose, right? Seems like it, but take the head of the arm bones back. But a lot of times what happens is we start to hunch, we start to round, you're looking down at charts. So this is a good pose to just be to keep you grounded, keep you walking tall and standing tall. Breathe in. Lift the toes and spread them. Good. And then lift the heels a few times, really engaging in the muscles of the calf. Stretching out your feet. So as you can see, Dr. Keeney's lifting her heels and lowering them, which seems so simple too, but that's our feet get under work, they get tired, and this keeps them energized, strong. Good. And then on your next breath, you can lower your heels down and raise your arms up. This is called Urdhva Hastasana. So stand tall, sweep the arms up. Good. Raise your arms up, lift the arms up, interlace your hands, release your index fingers, and then side bend right, side bend left. So you're creating this beautiful crescent moon shape with your body. And what it's doing is stretching out the intercostals, the side body, keeping that healthy. Chin up, chest up. Keep moving. I see you, Natalia. You're doing great. So good to see all your familiar faces. We usually do this where in Central Park, no, in the hospital. Bring your hands to your heart. But nothing was stopping you, right, Dr. Keeney? Inhale, raise your arms up. No COVID, no, not even Father's Day. Exhale, fold in half, Uttanasana. That's how passionate she is. Inhale, gaze up, look up, lead with your heart. And then exhale, step your right foot back for low lunge. So low lunge is a pose that opens up your hips and strengthens the quads. So you're going to bend, you're on the ball of the foot. If it's too hard to keep the hands down, you can keep the torso lifted. Otherwise, bend and straighten the front knee a few times. Bend, straighten, bend, straighten. So these are Dr. Keeney's favorites. Good. And then from here, drop the back knee, Anjaneyasana. So the Surya Namaskar A. Raise your arms up.
Also yoga, what we say is a dual action. So what you see, my front leg, the hamstrings as well as the quads are working hard, and my back leg, you see the quads are stretching.
Yeah, so I see some of you in the camera have a lot of direct pressure on that back knee. If you can see, Dr. Keeney has her back knee back a little bit. This takes time. I mean, she's been practicing many years. Just to open up her back right hip flexor. Good. And then from here, straighten the front leg. Hanuman, Ardha Hanuman, runner's lunge. Yep, this stretches the hamstring. Toes to the nose, breathe. Good, and then come back to low lunge. Yep, or step it back, and then, yep, and then step it back to downward facing dog. So it gets a little tricky here. You can come onto your knees and take your time, make your way there. Come back into downward facing dog. You're doing good, Anil. Yes, and then walk your feet forward slowly. Walk your feet to the front of your mat. Take your time. Come back into Uttanasana. Stretch out your low back. Let your arms hang. It looks good, you guys. Really, everybody looks great. And then just let your arms dangle. And then slowly come up to stand again. And then raise your arms high to the sky. Inhale. Sweep the arms up. So you're still working the breath. Bring your hands to your heart. Good. And then sweep the arms up and around. And then exhale, fold in half for Uttanasana. Standing forward fold. Hinge through the hips. Make your way slowly. Keep your head above your heart so you don't get dizzy. And then step the opposite foot back. So that's left foot for low lunge.
This is Surya Namaskar A, also called a sun salutation. You can practice this. You usually practice in the morning. Do it a couple of times. It's a good stretching as well as strengthening of the entire body. 10 minutes you can do 6 to 8 times.
Yeah, drop the back knee, Anjaneyasana. Yeah, so
the same thing on the other side.
Same, yep. So repeat the same thing on the other side. Lift the sternum, keep bending the front knee so you get a nice stretch through the back hip flexor. Yeah, so some of you slide that back knee a little bit back more. Bring your hands knee to your front knee to support yourself and then lift the sternum up. So corset the front ribs to the back ribs so you're not just pitching in the low back. So Dr. Keeney is getting a stretch through her heart. Good, her pectorals. And then maybe you can even take the arms out to the side to deepen the intensity. And the front leg is engaged and it's working to protect the back hip, so you're not overstretching. So it's like a Goldilocks, not too much, not too good. And then straighten the front leg. Draw your toes to your nose, stretch, breathe, stretch your low back. Inhale. Exhale. Just notice where you feel tight and how you approach it very tense, and then just find some softness around that. Good. Okay, let's go through some standing poses. Dr. Keeney, we need an hour and a half. Lift your back knee. Good. Step back to plank. Lower down knees, chest, chin. Lower all the way down onto your belly this time. And then from here, let's take upward facing dog, which is an amazing pose to stretch the front of the body. Yeah, so wrists are directly underneath your shoulders. Lift your heart. Lift the knees, lift the thighs. Some people like to keep the back toes tucked under. I think that puts a little more intensity in the low back, but this stretches the tops of the feet. Good. And then slowly come out of this and come into downward facing dog. So let's go through some standing poses, Dr. Keeney. Walk your feet forward to just show the general warrior 1, warrior 2 triangle. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, raise your arms up. Good. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let's take chair pose, Utkatasana. So chair pose, bend your knees. Utkatasana means fierce asana. So this one's all about strength. This is all about the strength and power in your legs. Okay, every muscle in the leg is working. Look down at your toes, all 10 toes. You should be able to see them in front of your knees. Good. If it feels safe, you raise your arms up to take it up a little bit higher and then control the mind. In yoga, we call it Chitta Vritti Nirodha, which means these mind, complexity of the mind. It takes you into a place of stress, takes you into a place of like, right? This is a way to control the mind. So how calm can you get in a pose that feels really hard? Inhale, exhale, good. And then come to stand and feel your heart beating. So this raises your heart rate up. Good, inhale, feel the breath, and then sweep the arms up. Let's just take tree pose now, Dr. Keeney. So you're gonna pick up your right foot.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll go into some of the standing poses one after the next. So right foot to the inside of the left leg, raise your arms up. Good, so when we do these balancing poses, so tree, you can place above the knee, below the knee, or just on the ankle. It just helps you learn to stay grounded, to learn
So
to stay
if you are not
centered.
able to do the proper tree, you could just put your feet just here at the ankle. You're better, go higher up. Never place it on a joint. And if you think you have been practicing, you've been having good balance, then you go up here. It's a good balance as well as a hip opener. Hip opener for the right leg. Once you have a
Dr.
good
Keeney.
balance, you can go up. I call it as a flowering tree now.
And if you have a hard time with this, you can do it against the wall. You can bring one hand to the wall. Strengthens the standing leg. Good. Come back to the top. You want to, okay. And then come back to the top of the mat. And let's just step back to warrior one. So Virabhadrasana, the warrior pose. The energy behind it is all about
Virabhadrasana one, your leg that goes behind is at 90 degrees. You see my right leg is at 90 degrees. 70 degrees this way. With your hips facing front.
Good, and then raise your arms up and feel the hips open. So the front leg is working really hard. You're working the front quadricep, and this is where Dr. Keeney had referenced dual action. And the back leg is stretching. And this is so good for the hips. Good, and then from here, just come into pyramid pose, straighten your front leg, and then just walk your hands forward. So pyramid pose, Dr. Keeney has her arms behind her back, which opens up the pectorals, and then both legs are straight to stretch out the front hamstring. Good, and then you allow gravity to kind of pull you down. Breathe in. And breathe out. Good, inhale, raise your arms up, come up slowly, and then just come into warrior two, Dr. Keeney. So just pivot the toes out. There's a shift in the feet. The front toes are tracking forward, and the back foot is parallel with the back edge of your mat. Virabhadrasana 2. Big dynamic hip opener and a front quad strengthener. And it also opens up the pectorals, the arms, keeps the arms strong. Extend through the fingertips. Good, bend the front knee. And again, you go as deep as you want to go. You work as hard as you want to go. That feels safe, but like you're working. Reach it back for peaceful warrior. Good, slide your hand back, back, back. This opens a beautiful stretch for the front of the ribs. Good, and then from here, side angle, Parsvakonasana. So elbow, you have 3 options here. You can bring your hand to your knee. The top arm can reach up and over the top ear. So this is side angle, and the goal is to stretch the side of the body, okay? Or you can take it a little deeper, or you can catch the bind, which Dr. Keeney has really mastered. So from the front, and then underneath the hamstring, Good, and again, in a pose where we feel so contracted, how much breath, space can you bring into the pose? And then watch the knee, don't collapse. And I know you're all heroes, but you don't want to be heroes and overdo this, all right? We have a lot of good, strong people, good, focused people. Reach it back for peaceful warrior. And then we'll take Trikonasana, triangle. So triangle pose stretches the front hamstring, slide your hand down, stack shoulder over shoulder. So hand, go ahead, Dr. Keeney.
If you have you can use this, or with your left hand, go as far as you can.
Yeah, so the front hand places on the shin, but you're not pressing into that shin to hyperextend the front knee. You want to keep the knee really safe. So think about pressing your shin into your hand rather than jamming your hand into your shin, and then stack shoulder over shoulder. So all four corners of both feet are rooted down to the earth. The back foot is parallel with the back edge of your mat. And these vary depending on what lineage you study. Good, inhale. Exhale, reach it back for peace. And then from here, take goddess, Dr. Keeney. So pivot the toes out. Yeah. Bend the knees. And then wrap your right elbow under your left elbow. So this opens up the upper back, the back of the heart, stretches the scapula by binding the arms, and that might not be accessible. And if it's not accessible, I don't know if you guys can see me, you can actually just give yourself a hug. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
this stretches the muscles of the upper back, get really tight. Yeah. Sit low.
Hold here, hug yourself.
Yeah.
And go as deep as you can, otherwise, whatever your body allows.
Good. And then inhale, raise your arms up. You can, and then stick out the tongue like a lion. So, yeah, the tongue's a muscle and an organ, right? We don't want to leave anything out. Good. And then exhale, full wide-legged forward fold. So just fold in half. So Dr. Keeney, we'll go through the other side pretty quickly, but we're running out of time.
Okay.
So bend your right knee and your left knee. I know people have Father's Day festivities and things they have to do today. So we're just grateful to offer something here. Yeah. So Skandasana, you don't have to go as low as Dr. Keeney. You can stay up a little higher. This opens up the inner thigh. This stretches the inner adductors, opens up the hips. Really, if you're sitting all day, if you're sitting and you're standing all day, this can be the elixir, right? To shift some of that.
Okay,
Good. And then pivot to the front, low lunge to the front, and then just step up into Tadasana. Just step forward into Tadasana. Inhale, raise your arms up. Tree pose on the other side. Bring your hands to your heart. We'll move a little bit more quickly now that you have a general idea of how the shape should look. So pick up your left foot. How grounded can you get? How centered can you get? We use something called dristi, which helps keep you focused. So, right, like when you're operating or you're focused on somebody, on your job, this can really help you just get really centered. So the same idea, focus on one thing, foot into the leg. This opens up the hip. This strengthens the ankles. Inhale, raise your arms up. And then just shift back into warrior one. So left foot back, right foot forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up, raise them up. And then exhale, come right into pyramid pose on the other side. So straighten the front leg, hinge through the hips. Arms either grab both elbows behind the low back, or you can even take reverse prayer. Good. Not an easy pose. You'll see as you move through these shapes what's underworked in your life. what might need a little help. Good. And then slowly come on up. Warrior one, raise your arms up. Good. And then from here, warrior two, just shift. Big stance. Good. Big stance. Look down at your front knee. It should be framing all 5 toes. Make sure the front toes are tracking straight ahead, not inward. Bend and straighten. Hold Virabhadrasana 2, and then reach it back for peace. Slide your hand back, stretch the ribs. Good. And then from here, side angle on the other side. Option 1, hand to the knee. Option 2, elbow to the knee. Option 3, you reach for the bind, which might happen after a few years. In front. Other way, yeah. Good. Inhale. Heart to the sky. Breathe in. Nice, Andrew. Good. And breathe out. Good. And then slowly make your way back up. And then sweep it back and then come into Trikonasana on the other side. So lengthen through the side of the ribs. Slide your hand to a block. You can use a book. You can use a water bottle. Or you can place your hand on that front shin. But remember, no pressure on the shin. And then stack shoulder over shoulder. Nice, Oliver. Very good, you guys. Really impressive. We got a nice group that does yoga here, Dr. Keeney. And then reach it back for peace. And then from here, goddess again. Pivot the toes out, bend your knees, sink your hips, move from side to side. You can even add breath of fire, Kalabhati. can hear Dr. Keeney. She's exhaling forcefully out from the belly. Like you're blowing out birthday candles. Short, forced exhalations. Yep, that keeps the, works the belly muscles of the abdominals. If you need to wake up in the morning and you feel tired, or during the day you feel exhausted, by doing this quick breathing technique, you can actually wake yourself up. Exhale like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, raise your arms up. Good. Interlace your hands in Dr. Keeney, and stretch your hands up towards the ceiling. So you're stretching out even the fingers. Yeah, you can even flip the palms over. Good. And then exhale, fold in half. Good. And then pivot to the front, warrior one. Let's do 2 more balancing, okay? And then we'll finish. So Garudasana Eagle. Raise your arms up. Good. Get ready, get set. So start in, so Dr. Keeney's going to demonstrate eagle pose, which is great for the lymph system. So I would even start in warrior one, Dr. Keeney. Yeah. Left foot forward. Actually, left foot forward. And then from here, swing your left thigh over your right thigh. Focus, wrap the thighs, and then take the left elbow under the right. She's doing opposite. She makes it more challenging. That's Dr. Keeney's style. And then squeeze inner thigh. So think lymphatic system, think all the systems of the body. Good. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then from here, warrior 3. Just fly it out. Yep, just warrior 3. You just fly. So Dr. Keeney, switch legs. You can do the same leg. Hinge through the hips, float the back leg up. Inhale. Yeah, exhale. Good. And then come back to Tadasana, stand tall, breathe. And then we'll just take standing bow, left side. Okay, and then we'll flow through 2 more. Pick up the foot, take the left arm up, and then kick and charge the body forward. So this is called Natarajasana, standing bow pulling pose. It's great to open up the quad, to stretch your quads. This actually raises your heart rate. Good. Challenging pose. You can do it against the wall. Good. And then just come to stand and be still. Inhale. Catch your breath. Come back to Tadasana, mountain pose, right? We have a hard moment. Stand tall. Be still. Feel the earth. Okay, second side. Here we go. Inhale. Raise your arms up. Start in warrior 1. So switch your feet. Dr. Keeney has her right foot back. Take a deep breath in, and then we'll go into eagle, Garudasana on the other side. So I like to do the same arm, same leg. Dr. Keeney does opposite, which is more challenging, but it's up to you. 1, 2, 3, wrap. So left elbow under right elbow. Good. And then squeeze everything in. And so she's been working for many years on this pose. She's able to get her bottom foot to wrap. Some of you might not get that. And, you know, you could do this seated in a chair. And then you don't have to worry about the balance. And then just squeeze inner thigh to inner thigh. Squeeze elbow. Stretch out your arms. Good. And then exhale, warrior 3. So unravel, float the heart rate. Yep. And melt the torso forward. So in warrior 3, the goal is to square off the hips, but it's not an easy pose. Good. Exhale, come back to stand in Tadasana. Fine. Catch your breath. Stand tall, breathe. It's hot enough for you, Dr. Keeney? Okay, last pose, Natarajasana on the other side. Pick up the foot. Charge the body forward.
Other people are doing also?
Everybody's doing it with you.
Good.
You are not alone.
Whatever they can.
You can do this balancing against a chair. You can use a hand towel to pick up your foot. So everybody can access this. Good. And then come back to Tadasana, breathe. Stand tall, take a deep breath in. So that one jacks the heart rate up. So you can just feel that. Use your breath to slow it down, and then take your feet wide, and we'll come into Malasana, Dr. Keeney. Okay, so feet wide, drop your seat. Good. And then lower down onto your sits bones, onto your glutes, and we'll come into Natarajasana. I'm sorry, Navasana, boat pose. before we start to just bring everybody down. Yeah. So we'll finish with this one. This one is not an easy pose. Work hip flexors, they get weak, they get tight. You can bend the knees here, Dr. Keeney, you can give that. Think about, yeah, you can use your hands to support yourself. Good. And then lower down all the way down onto your back. Rest. You can use your hands to lower down. Okay, Setu Bandhasana. We'll finish with that and 2 supine twists because we just want to give you poses that you can do once a day to keep you healthy. So Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. So good for back issues, so good for the lungs, okay? So good for the glutes. So bend your knees, keep your feet in line with your knees, and on your next breath, you're going to lift your hips high to the sky. Good, as high as you can get them. And I would even walk your feet back a little bit more, Dr. Keeney, yeah. And then just lift up. So really opening up the lungs, opening up the heart, stretching the ribs, walk your shoulder blades underneath your shoulders. Very good, everybody. I know this is not easy pose. These poses of the back get really, really underworked. Lift, breathe, and then lower down slowly. And then when you're ready, come down and then just windshield wiper the knees from side to side. So 1 or 2 poses. We'll do part 2 next week, right, Dr. Keeney?
Yeah.
We can get some more advanced with so many poses. There's thousands and tens of thousands of poses that she does and she practices. So hug your knees to your chest, but you have Father's Day. Yep, and then just take a gentle supine twist. This should feel pretty good. Lay on your back. Yep, draw your knees to your chest, extend the arms out. So this is great to stretch out the back. And then it's called a supine twist. So Dr. Keeney's laying on her back. She drew, for some of you who can't see, she drew her knees to her chest and dropped her knees to the right. And ideally, we want to line up our cervical spine with our tailbone. Good. And then let's just finish with happy baby. So a happy baby is like doing a squat, laying down. If you can't reach your outer feet, then just grab, yeah, so draw your knees to your chest. You're laying flat on your back. You got it, Jaya. Good. And then if you grab the outer edges of your feet, if you cannot reach the outer edges of your feet, grab the back of the thighs. Yeah.
Or the ankle.
Or the ankles.
Wherever you can. Yeah.
And then circle the knees and then we'll finish. Yep, just massage out your low back. That's so good for your back and connective tissue and the fascia and keep the blood moving so we don't, yep. And then from here, Shavasana, meditate. Meditation, meditate, meditate. Take a deep breath in. This is the pose that represents no effort. You step away from all materialism, all the work you do. And concentrate on your breath. Just feel the earth holding you. Feel your breath moving in and out. Relax your jaw. Take a deep breath in and then exhale. Just let go of all effort. Hear the birds. Breathe in fresh, oxygenated air. Connect to yourself and the beauty around you. Ideally, hold this for 8 minutes, maybe even 30. Helps keep us more present. Good. And then on your next breath, bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Breathe a little bit more deeply. Just fill up with prana. And then exhale and then extend the arms up over your head. Roll out your wrists, roll out your ankles, hug your knees to your chest, roll to the right side. In the fetal position, which is the pose of re-entry as you step back into your life, more grounded, more centered, more flexible, more stronger than you started. So you come back up to seated, sit up tall, and I'll let you take everybody out. Say, sit
Yes.
up tall, Dr. Kinney. Yeah.
So thank you, Maria. Thank you, everybody, for staying through this entire yoga session on this International Yoga Day.